U.S. perspective, it's a matter of supporting a democratic Iran. And the people of Iran need to decide how much power to put in Tehran and how much power to put in Tabriz. For example, Britain gave new powers to the Scottish Assembly. There's no way as an American I should have an opinion on how much Edinburgh should do and how much London should do. I just believe Britain should be a democracy and they ought to work it out. And I'm hoping that the right balance is achieved in Pakistan as well, and only a democratic Pakistan can determine the level of autonomy each province should have.
That's very true.
I just have a small comment and information that I would like to share. I have a friend in Intelligence Bureau of Pakistan who used to work there. He said that since 2001 till today in Pakistan, a lot of terrorists have been killed and captured. Not a single one so far, he said, is a Sindhi-speaking terrorist killed or captured. So Sindhis are the peace-loving people, as we all know, and we are your best friends in that region. So help us grow so we can have a stronger Pakistan and a stronger alliance between you and us. Thank you.
Very good.
Hi, my name is Khalid Hashmani. I belong to a small group called Sindhi Excellence Team. I want to first of all thank you for a very enlightening talk. I guess the purpose of these meetings, and I'm very thankful that you've given us opportunity to ask questions, and the President, one of the main purposes of such meetings is that we tell you about our situation and in turn also learn from some of the internal things. I just will take 1 second to tell you that the plight of Sindh, or Sindhis, is very obvious if you go a little bit deeper, even in finances. 92% of the revenue of Pakistan is collected from federal government. The Pakistan's constitution, you talk about democracy and constitutional government, Pakistan's government gave a lot of powers to provinces, which illegally or by manipulation have been usurped by federal government, and they collect 92% of all the revenues. And then what they do is they keep 52% of that revenue for the federal government, and 48% is distributed purely on population basis. And much of that 52%, about 117 billion rupees of that is spent on military, and 28 billion rupees are given in the federal capital area, which is also located in Punjab, and 70% of population that city, and 70% people working in military are also from the Punjab. So you can see that out of 43%, it is said that Sindh is giving about 300 billion rupees in taxation revenue, and it receives about 22% of what it gives out to the federal government. So these are the types of inequities that Sindh has suffered. I don't know, this is, you might treat it as an internal problem, but you have to take these considerations when you are targeting the areas where the government, federal government, by some means, by usurping legal or illegal means, have been able to manipulate. When you talk about civilian government, really you know it and I know it, the real power is not with the civilian governments. It is with the military. They dictate the terms. Nobody can question the defense budget. No details are announced about how much except on the broad terms. So those things, civilian government people, they select those people who are ready to play the game, and that's how people are denied. So as a congressman, as one of the members of decision makers, that you look at those inequities and somehow, either by making sure that American aid is targeted to people who are denied in a legal or illegal way, or somehow you ask the question from the Pakistan government that our Sindhi American constituencies are asking this question. One question which I request every congressman, senator I meet, ask the Pakistan ambassador one day when you are having a dinner, how many Sindhi speaking people are working in the embassy? and you will know the statistics. There are about 200 to 250 employees in Pakistan embassy, and you'll be surprised if they can quote you more than 2 or 3 people. One according. Okay. And Sindhis are about 12 to 15% of population. Now my question is, is that Bush government gave a lot of aid to Pakistan, and both you and other congressmen agreed that a lot of that was wasted without any results. What type of checks and balances and policies are in place now that you will ensure that it reaches the real people, and 80% of it is not siphoned off by a corrupt politician or corrupt military officers and other people? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, do you need to answer that? You have all the facts now.
I mean, just to give you the kind of simple briefing paper you get if you're not familiar with Pakistan, I know that the PPP is strong in Sindh. I know that both the current president and his late wife were born in Sindh. Somebody looking from the outside of Pakistan would think Sindh is running the place. The largest city is in Sindh. The party that controls has roots in Sindh. So I'm obvious. I would say it's important for the voters, the Sindhi voters, to vote for a government in Pakistan that reflects their interests. And at the same time, as you point out, while Pakistan is a democracy now, when a military has just given up power in a last year or two, where everybody does not find it beyond imagination that the military would try to influence politics in the future, the military then, even if they're not in power, they have too much power over the civilian. And the solution is to create such strength in the democracy that it becomes more and more unthinkable for the military to defy, to refuse to answer questions, etc. And I'll tell you, we've worked hard on that in the United States. I'm a member of Congress, as you may have seen from some of these pictures of town halls. Members of Congress are not always treated with deference and respect. The one group of people that always treat me and every other member of Congress with deference and respect are the military officers, all the way up to the Chief of Staff. And that is because we have a military that teaches that respect for the civilian government at the very beginning as a core part of military instruction. And again, the only group of people I know will treat me with respect are the American military officers.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd really like to thank you for joining us today. Clearly, there are a lot of distinct groups vying for your support. And my question is, if a Punjabi Political Action Committee came to you yesterday and asked for your support, who would you ultimately choose? And have we done enough today to earn your support in Congress? Are we going to see some real-world impact from what we did today?
I mean, I can't tell you that a year ago I woke up and said, there's a conflict between Punjabis and Sindhis, and I'm going to go to Congress and fight for the Sindhis. Again, it would surprise even, let's face it, most Americans don't know there is a PPP. Of those that can name a political party in Pakistan and who know that party has support in Sindh, that it's that the Bhutto family comes from Sindh. I mean, it is eye-opening to hear an explanation of how Sindh is not treated fairly by the government. But I would hope that I would have the integrity to say pretty much the same thing to any group of people who are asking me the same question. And one of the reasons to do that is because one of the reasons I do that is because of my personal integrity. Another